welcome to another episode of Mine Planning Matters, a podcast where we talk about where the industry gets it both right and wrong when it comes to mine planning and mining engineering. This podcast is not just for mine planners, it's for everyone who has anything to do with mine plans, from those who create them, to those who execute them, and all the way up to those who endorse or sign off on them. My name is Mark Bowater, Director and Founder of Australian Mining Consultancy Insignia Mining, and I speak from experience, having been involved in mine planning for over 30 years. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mine Planning Matters. And this is a continuing series of episodes on optimistic mine plans. And in this one, I'm now going to move into the area of conscious optimistic mine plans, so where we have specifically made that choice. And there's a significant element of human cost associated with optimistic mine plans, the impacts we have on the people who actually work in the workforce. And I'm going to leave that for the next episode. So what's wrong with optimistic mine plans? The first thing is that we have these overstated plan outcomes that sort of just become an expectation, certainly from higher levels within the organisation. Plans are just set and it's just assumed that they should happen, and it becomes an expectation, and it's an unrealistic expectation. Now then what happens is that commonly we introduce a whole lot of inefficiencies in the mine site in trying to achieve plan. We take shortcuts towards the end of the period when we're behind plan, such as digging half width shots to try and uncover some ore, or drilling patterns, half width or part of the pattern because we've still got a hole through there, or something like that. So we introduce all these inefficiencies, and what we also introduce very short-term thinking. So rather than the longer-term goals that we're trying to achieve, it becomes all about what have we got to do this week to try and hit plan. And so we introduce very short-term thinking. Now, one of the other things that happens, there's a key outcome of mine plans that I don't think we often think about enough, and that is that for me, mine plans are not just about working out physicals and blending requirements and all those other sorts of things, but they're also about making the right decisions, key decisions. What are the key decisions that we need to make? As soon as we introduce optimism into a mine plan, and therefore the timing of all of our tasks is wrong, it leads to making wrong decisions. And it's funny because I think that people at the time almost know that it's a wrong decision to move a piece of equipment from A to B, but because it's in the mine plan, it happens, and so we make wrong decisions all the time because our mine plans are wrong. Certainly in the Australian mine industry now, labour resources are very short. We are getting light on labour resources, particularly, say, mining engineers. And I tend to think that our labour resources are too valuable, given the shortage, for them to be wasted, particularly mining engineers, wasted on running plans that are just not worth the paper that they're on because they're wrong. What's the point in investing mining engineering resources into generating plans that are wrong? A highly optimistic mine plan becomes a real issue from an operational perspective because no one owns the plan. The mine planners don't want to own the plan because very often it's not the plan that they created in the first instance. It's been modified since, and they've been told to increase the output from the plan. And so therefore, mine planners generically have created a mine plan that they don't want to own. And the operations team don't want to own it because they look at it and go, that's ridiculous, we're never going to achieve that. And so you have planners and implementers who neither party want to own the plan. And I've actually been to mine sites where there's not the robust level of discussion that you should have about mine plans because no one owns it. And so they don't bother arguing about it. What's the point in having a good, robust discussion about a mine plan that no one thinks is ever going to happen? And then the last one I want to talk about in this episode is that it creates a negative culture. So right from the very beginning of the plan, firstly, you've introduced short-term thinking and lots of other inefficiencies. But what happens is that over time, you just build this negative culture out of the fact that you never achieve plan. Every plan, you are behind plan from the beginning of the plan. And so you just get used to losing. You get used to failing. It is seen as failing. You never outdo the plan. And so it just creates this culture of failure. Thanks for listening to Mine Planning Matters and my thoughts on mine planning. This podcast is for the benefit of the mining industry, and that's you. So I'd love to hear from you through the comments section, and please feel free to let me know any topics you'd like discussed in future episodes. You'll find much more content at our Insignia Mining website, and if you find any of our content valuable, please let your mining colleagues know so they can benefit as well.